Welcome to the Eureka Street Crypto Podcast.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Eureka John, and you're at Eureka Street Crypto, broadcasting from Leander, Texas. It is 5:48 in the morning, and it is March 22nd, 2022. Yeah, it's a Tuesday, and I'm up before work. Got to do my long commute down to work. I almost got caught in a tornado yesterday. I either take the toll road all the way around Austin, or I take I-35 to 183, kind of through Austin. And yesterday I happened to just choose to go straight through Austin because the traffic wasn't as bad. And had I gone around that toll road, I would have hit right in the suburbs north of Austin just when the tornado was touching down and tossing cars around. So yeah, kind of glad I didn't take that route. Anyway, this is my morning video blog, aka crypto show. I take everything that I listen to and learn about crypto the day before, and in the morning I try to externalize it and try to verbalize things that I'm learning and stuff like that. I think that helps part of the learning process. This is my documentation of me learning about, one, the crypto space, and two, about live streaming and audio visual production. I'm trying to make a career transition over to stuff like that. To do audio visual live streaming with a Web3 niche. Or niche. Yeah. How do you say it? Niche or niche? I think the proper pronunciation, because a French word, is niche, but Americans say niche. Yeah. So that's what this show is. I'm 423 episodes deep into it. I've been doing this since October 24th, 2020. I don't have any sponsors, and I'm not shilling anything. I'm just talking about stuff I learned, and that's basically it, man. So I'm not a financial advice, and I'm not a professional anything. All right, so that out of the way, let's take a quick look at the CoinGecko. And I'm trying to do things from a journalistic point of view as well and be non-partial. A lot of this stuff is my opinion, though, too. But I've recently joined the JournoDAO, and the JournoDAO is a DAO of journalists who are all interested in incorporating Web3 and decentralizing journalism. As you probably know, if you've watched any mainstream news, that most of the mainstream news is pure propaganda nowadays, and a lot of journalists are very aware of this, and they're trying to do what they can to fix the situation and put the power of journalism back into the hands of the people. And here's their DAO. Let's go take a look here. Let me go back to the screen. Okay, and what? Okay, here we are. All right, there's the JournoDAO right here. It's at JournoDAO, harnessing the Web3 revolution to revitalize journalism. That's their Twitter. And they have JournoDAO.xyz. Really good people in here. And they've been doing a lot of Twitter spaces to discuss about things that they can do as journalists to help change the journalism space. And so that's journalism, JournoDAO.xyz. I'm going to try to participate in whatever way I can. I'm obviously not a professional journalist, but I know about Web3, so I can create explainer videos and stuff like that to teach journalists how to enter the Web3 space and what it's all about, and ways that they can use their skills and talents in the journalism space. So, it's a cool website. I haven't even checked it out yet. Keith Axline, I believe, built this one. So journalism plus Web3. JournoDAO is an incubator for projects that transform and rethink the journalism ecosystem using Web3 tools. We're building the future of journalism. So decentralized newsrooms, on-chain reporting, tokenized ownership, and peer-to-peer distribution. Cool. So upgrading journalism. We're bringing those tools, skills, and outlets into the future. Connect value to creators. The people who benefit from journalism, local journalism, pay for the service directly. Open source algorithms. The era of predatory and biased recommendation engines is over. Community-owned algorithms can help deliver a truly balanced, highly valuable news diet. Devalue attention. Attention is a poor measure of value based on our current media agenda around monetization. Attention is a root cause of much of today's dysfunction. And then community-owned. The best way to prevent extractive media businesses is to give ownership back to the community. And there's Eric Mack talking about how Web3 can revitalize journalism. He also did a presentation at DAO Planet recently and really explained decentralized journalism and DAOs and journalism very well. So yeah, give this a follow. And if you're in media or just interested in journalism, this is a great place for you to come in and enter the space. I mean, I'm obviously not a journalist, but I'm interested in everything that goes on. I've always been interested in live streaming and different types of platforms. I mean, I had my own pirate radio station in the early 2000s, and back when internet radio was a new thing, I was doing that. And back when people actually had iPods dedicated purely to music. Now it's just our iPhone. Back in the old days. So let's move on. Let's go here to the cryptocurrency rankings on CoinGecko. So Bitcoin's at $42,811.75. So all right, Ethereum at 3,000, back at $3,017.76. BNB token 406.34, and we have XRP at 84 cents. It seems to be a green week so far. So not just a green day, green week. Terra 93.35, Cardano 94 cents, up 17.6%. Solana up 12.6% and 91.40. Avalanche 88.48, up 28.7% in the past 7 days. Let's scroll on down and see where Polygon and Kronos are, because I hold both of those, 41 cents and $1.52. And I'm going to look at Chainlink, 15.75, doing very well, up 17.5%. And cool, man. I think things are looking up. Theta is back above $3, up 9.7%. So I can say I'm a satisfied person. All right, so let's go over here and look at some of the news. I know this is a little old now. It's a few days. But if you haven't been following Wonderland.money and Abracadabra and the whole Danny Sesta debacle, in which basically Wonderland is an Ohm fork, and I'm not going to go in and explain what Ohm forks are and DeFi 2.0 and all that stuff. But it was a new way of doing decentralized finance. Danny Sesta was kind of the face behind Wonderland, Abracadabra Money, and Icicle Finance, I believe, Popsicle Finance. I can't remember, but basically somebody came on crypto Twitter and doxed 0xSifu. He was a co-founder of Wonderland, and Danny Sesta was a public face, and 0xSifu was the pseudo-anonymous face. And there's a lot of those pseudo-anons in the crypto space, and a lot of people just prefer to be that way. And I'm fine with that. But if you're going to put a ton of money in a bunch of projects, you probably don't want to put it in a project with a bunch of anons. But anyway, it turned out that 0xSifu is Michael Patron, who back in the, I guess, a few years ago was he was a co-founder of the Quadriga exchange, which is infamous for the other co-founder, Gerald Cotton, being one of the largest exit scams at the time, in which Gerald Cotton allegedly faked his death. I mean, nobody's seen him. He ran off with $160-something million. Apparently, Michael Patron and Gerald Cotton got into an argument, and Michael Patron went his separate ways. But previous to Quadriga Exchange, he was also a convicted felon with a lot of other financial crime type of, digital money type of activities. So he'd been to prison for that before, and he'd gotten out. And I don't know, man, he has a checkered past. And after he split ways with Gerald Cotton, Quadriga Exchange went into the toilet, and Gerald Cotton flew to India, where apparently he died of some condition. But faked deaths are well known to be common occurrences in the places where he went. And everything was just a little bit suspicious. Like, he basically ran the entire exchange off of his laptop, and people were just, there's a lot of issues. I would check into it. Just do a search on the internet with Gerald Cotton and Quadriga Exchange. You'll get more than you ever want to hear about it. But Michael Patron was 50-50 involved with that up until like the last year or last 6 months. And then everything went down in the toilet after he left. So anyway, Michael Patron apparently is the anon 0xSifu, and 0xSifu had been working with Danny Sesta on Wonderland. Andre Cronje was kind of getting involved in some of this stuff too, and he recently exited the space. So there's been a lot of drama in the crypto space. Anyway, so this guy, Zach XBT, does a little bit of investigative work and he pulls the mask off of 0xSifu and says, here he is. This is the guy. This is the criminal. Are you sure that you want your billions of dollars with this criminal? And everybody is shocked, and, Wonderland tanks. And Zach XBT had confronted 0xSifu and confronted Danny Sesta about it. And Danny Sesta was like, look, man, I don't ask who these people are in real life. When I work with somebody, I look at their work, look at the type of job they do, and I proceed from there. I don't necessarily judge them on their past, and that's not what crypto and Web3 is about. And I tend to agree with them as well. But a lot of people say, well, would you trust your billions of dollars with somebody who's a convicted felon? Shouldn't we be, but isn't that the traditional Web 2 space creeping into Web 3? It's supposed to be. That's the thing about it, Web 3, yes, crypto has this bad side to it where there is a bit of people that have checkered pasts or presence, and there is some money laundering aspects in there and some criminal stuff in there. That's part of what decentralization is. It looks at numbers. It does not look at people's reputations or credit scores or anything like that. That's the whole point of crypto, is to look objectively at numbers only. Like, you don't even see who the person is, and that's one of the main selling features of crypto. It's to allow people to get around this current oppressive systemically oppressive credit system that we have now, that discriminatory, is oppressive, and it just is not fair to a lot of people. And so cryptocurrency has come in, and it's allowed people to have some financial freedom and autonomy. Anyway, so let's look at this article by The Defiant. The Defiant's a great media outlet for the crypto space and for DeFi and things like that. It's spearheaded by Camila Russo, who wrote the book The Infinite Machine. It's a great book on the history of Ethereum. So I definitely recommend you read that. If it kind of brings to life all the early characters of crypto and Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, Charles Hoskinson, Joseph Lubin, a bunch of other people, and it really just makes the whole space relevant and just super exciting. And once you know the history of all this stuff, then where we are now becomes 10 times more interesting. So I definitely recommend reading The Infinite Machine. And that book is about to be going on the silver screen in Hollywood, and they're selling NFTs to help fund their project. And they're really incorporating Web3 into the production of this movie. So I can't wait to see that. Anyway, so exclusive. Sifu speaks. Ousted Wonderland co-founder unveils new venture in defense of his record. So 0xSifu is back. He's got a brand new bag, baby. So there's been no shortage of drama around this enigmatic figure in DeFi, 0xSifu. And Sifu, if you don't know, means master or teacher in Chinese, I believe. I went through this phase where I was watching a bunch of kung fu flicks when I was living in Hawaii. They were like $3 at Walmart, and they're so good. I love Chinese kung fu flicks and stuff. They're cool, and I don't know what it is about them, but apparently, Sifu, kind of goes off of this, and his whole little icon is of a little cat, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so there's been no shortage of drama around this enigmatic figure in DeFi 0xSifu. You'll recall the pseudonymous Wonderland co-founder who was ousted from his position as treasury manager at the end of January, as he was doxxed as Michael Patron, a co-founder of the defunct Canadian crypto exchange Quadriga CX. That doomed enterprise folded in 2018 with hundreds of millions in investor losses. So let's take a quick look at that real quick. All right. So Frog Nation CFO Quadriga CX. Frog Nation is okay. So Frog Nation it's a meme, and it's kind of like a tribal team. Like you have the XRP army, you have Chainlink Marines, you have Theta Gnomes, Bitcoin Maxis. But it's just people that are really enthusiastic about a particular crypto project, and then the communities form around it, and then they adopt these mascots and stuff like that. Well, the whole Wonderland Finance trifecta with Wonderland, Abracadabra, and ICE, they're the Frog Nation, and the people that follow 0xSifu and Danny Sesta. And they were really into it, and they called themselves the Frog Nation. All right, so Sifu, the chief financial officer at the Danny Sesta-led DeFi network of DeFi projects known as Frog Nation, is out per a statement by Sesta on Thursday. Sesta has confirmed his real identity is that of Michael Patron, a co-founder of failed Canadian crypto exchange Quadriga CX. The news first surfaced on Twitter when user ZachXBT, a little snitch, shared screenshots of a conversation with Sesta. And Zach says, this needs to be shared. 0xSifu is the co-founder of Quadriga CX, Michael Patron. If you're unfamiliar, that is the Canadian exchange that collapsed in 2019 after the founder Gerald Cotton disappeared with $169 million. I've confirmed this with Danny over the messages. And he's in quotes, it says, I think it is what it is. I preferred to confirm and cut the BS, even though I know Zach didn't have hard evidence. It's better that the community knows the truth and votes on it, Danny Sesta told the Defiant over Twitter DM. All right, so Danny Sesta, he's a real charismatic guy. He's the face, and he seems to be kind of a cool, laid-back dude. He doesn't, he doesn't want to paint a rosy picture. He wants to cut through the BS and just get to the point. And here is Sifu had since posted a statement in the Wonderland Discord server. He says, I don't want anyone to feel like they were tricked or manipulated in any way, so I have decided to cease all treasury management activities until a vote regarding my future employment has concluded. As I've stated on numerous occasions, I work for you, my backers. If you no longer feel comfortable with me leading this app, as I have done since founding it only 4 short months ago, I will not want to be here. So, all the key Frog Nation tokens were hit sharply in the wake of the news. Danny Sesta seemed to confirm the allegations a little before 2 a.m. New York time. At the time, Wonderland's token Time, Abracadabra's token Spell, and Popsicle Ice's token Ice were trading at 543.007 cents and 639 respectively. As of mid-morning on Thursday, they were trading at 374.006 and 436, with Time and Ice having lost 30% of the value and spelled out. Well, they're down a lot more than that. The projects basically don't exist anymore. So Frog Nation was meant to be a network of DeFi projects that were all designed to grow together, feeding into each other's success, following a WAGMI, we are going to make it philosophy. This hasn't been the only controversy for the Frog Nation Collective this week. On January 25th, Time suffered a series of cascading liquidations, which caused the token's price to crater from 800 to 360 in a matter of hours. That's the risky thing about crypto, man. All this stuff is experimental. There are some good and some bad actors in here, and you really have to tread lightly and do your research. And that's kind of why I just am involved in this stuff as an experimenter, an observer, and things like that. I don't put my life savings in these projects. All right, so the founders' leveraged positions were reportedly liquidated, and this led to further price declines due to the size of the positions. Sifu and Danielle then announced that users who got liquidated behind them would be made whole either through buybacks, if authorized by the DAO, or with personal funds. Sifu said, I'm saying that I intend to make whole those who were liquidated under Danny and I, well under backing price during these Black Swan events. If the DAO votes against doing this under using tokens acquired during buybacks, we will do it using our own funds. This is a one-time thing. And apparently, according to the chain, they did. So anyway, that goes on to a lot of the more details. Let's look at this other article here. And then later on, it follows up, I guess later on. See, crypto moves at light speed. And a lot of people who are just hearing about crypto, that's why they can't get into it. It just moves too fast for them. So this is a couple weeks later. What's Sifu up to? Like 10 years down the road in crypto terms is 2 weeks. So after the pseudonymous Sifu was revealed to be Quadriga CX co-founder Michael Patron last month, it would be easy to expect him to leave DeFi behind. Not him. That's not the case, though, as the former CFO of Frog Nation, a Danny Sesta-led network of DeFi projects, has now launched a token, the ticker Sifu. So now Danny Sesta is leading another project, and 0xSifu is no. 0xSifu is launching another project now called Sifu. All right. And the former CFO deployed liquidity for his token over a day ago to Uniswap version 3 pool. The token currently has 5 holders outside the Uniswap pool, according to Etherscan, and is trading for 96.19. Now, keep in mind, this was February 18th. Okay. There are 5 holders. That was as of February 18th. One user has already made a purchase of 4,835 Sifu tokens worth over $490,000. And good for 0.48% of the total supply. Okay, details about the token's function are unknown. All right, so, and 0xSifu actually deployed the tokens over a year ago, and they sat in his wallet until he moved them to the Uniswap version 3 pool yesterday. All right, so let's go take a look at this current article then. Okay, so as the Wonderland episode fades, Sifu is now applying his treasury management skills to a new venture, Sifu Vision, which is an investment fund built around the Sifu token that he launched a month ago. So this article is March 16th, a month after February 18th. After 1 million tokens are available for sale at $100 a piece, implying a $100 million raise if fully subscribed. The project's website is short on details, to say the least. I'll take a look at that website here in a second. The Defiant spoke with 0xSifu, and here's our exclusive interview. All right, so the Defiant. What is Sifu's vision? Sifu. Passive growth without friction, mirroring the performance of my personal portfolio. So it's basically he's doing a kind of, I don't know if you've seen these, but reflexive finance. I can't remember the name of the other one, but basically it tracks a portfolio of people who are really good yield farmers, and it's basically a derivative. And so what you're doing is you're buying the derivative token, and that tracks the progress of these professional traders. Well, 0xSifu, he is a professional yield farmer trader / treasury management guy. And he's saying, I'm good. I'm going to put out a token. You can buy my token, and anything that I make, you make as well, proportionally. So, I mean, honestly, it's not a bad idea. So, anyway, so Sifu's vision is passive growth without friction, mirroring the performance of my personal portfolio. The Defiant says, let's talk about the elephant in the room. How do you think DeFi community will respond to this launch in light of the revelations about your past? Sifu says, today was my first day waking up with nobody to reply to on Twitter, no attacks. All recent attacks have received a ton of support on my side. I feel like crypto Twitter is finally getting annoyed with the baseless FUD, and FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. After crying scam and failing to provide a single transaction ID, proof of a blockchain transaction, of evidence during this 7-week period, is pretty transparent to me that these good Samaritan narcs like Zach XBT cost investors money for their own benefit. So what he's saying is that these narcs are really doxing 0xSifu at the investor's expense. You know, they're pumping up their own egos, and they're making money off of it. So anyway, the Defiant says there have been allegations that you stole assets from Wonderland and that it was all an elaborate scam. Would you care to respond? And the Defiant's not playing around. They're asking the hard questions. 0xSifu says, people claim that I stole hundreds of millions or billions from Wonderland, despite all on-chain activity and statements from the team that everything was returned. And that is the thing about blockchain. Everything's 100% transparent. There was around $500 million of Wonderland funds in my EOA when I was doxed to the public, and even more before I was doxed to Danny. I always returned it, and all this is verifiable on chain. I don't know any Anons who would do this. And then note, Sifu declined to comment on his time at Quadriga CX and instead referred us to a Wonderland forum post that he said reflects his version of past events. He maintains that any wrongdoing occurred after his departure from the company, as noted in the report from the Ontario Securities Commission. So he said all the wrongdoing on the Quadriga exchange happened after he left, and it was pretty much Gerald Cotton who faked his death, probably, allegedly. Anyway, speaking of Wonderland, a major complaint from investors is that the so-called backing price was not defended with buybacks as promised. What went wrong there? And then there's a rage quit window. So what happens with rage quits in DAOs? It's not throwing your controller at the TV like we used to do with the Nintendo when we were young. Rage quit is basically liquidating and cashing out on your stake in the DAO, your tokens, because whenever you are involved in a DAO, you hold those tokens. You don't sit there and cash them out. And then whenever you're done with participating with that DAO, then you rage quit. And yeah, so 0xSifu said, we spent 9 figures on buybacks. They continued until the day I was voted out. They were done manually from my EOA, and the rest were through bots such as sushi limit orders, all verifiable on chain. The Defiant says, Wonderland's rage quit window opened yesterday. Was it a tactical move to launch Sifu's Vision around the same time? And Sifu says it was intentionally delayed so as not to interfere with the Wonderland redemption process. I did not want to vampire attack Wonderland with my own swap portal. I've been pulling and investing the funds received since the pre-sale started last month. We are up 10%. And the Defiant says, are there any safeguards in place to secure investor funds, a multi-sig, for example? Sifu says, there will be a setup so that funds are safe if anything happens to me. However, funds are not secured by any arbitrary smart contract. I'm free to quickly and discreetly invest in what I think is best. The app's performance should mirror that of my own portfolio we earn together. I'll also be sharing trade ideas in the holders channel and Discord. The Defiant says the website mentions redemptions. How will that work? And Sifu says users will be able to swap their Sifu tokens for the backing value ETH without vote delays or penalties on a quarterly basis. And then Defiant says, finally, is Sifu's Vision simply a do-over of Wonderland without the so-called rebase Ponzi aspect? And then Sifu just sent an emoji of a dancing hamster. So the Sifu token has 351 holders apart from Sifu, so it went from 5 to 351 as of this writing, and the 2 Uniswap liquidity pools. They collectively hold approximately 29,840 tokens worth $3.5 million at the price of $118. Sifu has a prolific track record as a DeFi investor and trader, but will his checkered past prove to be a deal breaker for investors? We asked Matt Henderson, one of the largest holders of Sifu tokens and the author of the aforementioned proposal. Over a period of 18 months, he says, I observed Sifu grow his personal capital from $3 million to $70 million. As an investor, I'm excited to hold the Sifu token, both in terms of its potential and what it reflects, that DeFi is a truly free market. Exactly. It's based on numbers, like I was just saying, where everyone is free to participate and be judged on merit without prejudice, Henderson said. Yeah, and that's exactly what Danny Sesta's position was. He says, I don't care what 0xSifu had been involved in the past. I'm basing him on his current merit, and I like working with the guy, and yeah. So, the Zach XBT had different opinion. The Defiant reached out to Zach XBT and the blockchain sleuth who unmasked Sifu for comments regarding this new venture, and they didn't receive a response by the time of publication from the snitch. So you see where I stand on this. I mean, I'm all about second chances and things like that. That's what DeFi is about. So anyway, let's go to the Sifu's Vision website real quick while I have a few minutes left. I have 1.5 minutes left. So Sifu's Vision, home with a magical Sifu token, and it just shows the picture of, I guess it's like a mouse, not a cat. I can't, yeah, like a Splinter, the rat. Whenever he was the master, the sensei, the Sifu of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So Sifu's Vision, home with a magical. Oh, it moves around too when I move my mouse. So the Sifu token will be available for sale at an approximate price of $100 for early adopters until the end of March or until all tokens are sold. There are 1 million tokens available and no additional tokens can be minted. So what's the purpose? All right, let's check it out. So you click on each one of these and it kind of brings up like a text message type of response, which is very telling because that's exactly how he was doxxed. So this is kind of a jab at that. It was all done by text message or Telegram message or something like that. And so it just responds with an emoji of just a frog, throwing money in the air. So that's the purpose of the Sifu token. Who manages the sale proceeds? And it shows him dancing around. So 0xSifu. So he's the manager. It's not a DAO. So will there be a way to redeem? He says yes. The frog holding the sign. Is any of that stuff I read online true? And he says in response, an emoji of the frog shaking his head no. And then the last question, is this a DAO? And there's a emoji of the frog holding a sign saying no. And then another message saying, I think I understand what's happening here. This is so cool. And then it has the frog with a big brain on its head saying you're smart. So yeah, that's basically all there is. It's not a very informative website. Really, anybody that would invest in this is really just a supporter of 0xSifu. and nothing more, honestly. Sifu stands for the whole idea of a meritocracy, I believe, and that's kind of what he's just trying to portray here. So developers and people in the DeFi space, they're artists in a way, and he in a way is standing up for a specific ideal of a meritocracy, of anonymity in DeFi. And it seems that the people that support this also are buying his token, and they also have seen his track record of being able to make money, and they're not holding anything else on that, and no other actions before Quadriga exchange or regarding the Quadriga exchange into that account. They're purely looking on his performance of his portfolio, and that's it. Numbers only. Number go up. So I don't know. Would you do something like this? Would you throw $100 at something like this, even if it's just for a little lottery gamble? I don't know. Yeah. I probably won't, but it's the amazing thing about this crypto space is just like weird crap like this. It's awesome, and it's so fun to follow and just see what happens. It's why I do this, man. All right. That being said, I hope you guys have a good day. I'm gonna go to work and see what happens in the crypto market today while I'm there. Just something going on every single day. So you guys have a good day. Stay away from tornadoes. Be good to each other. And I will talk to you later. Let me get over here to this regular day screen. Let me get to the outro. So, all right. Sorry about that. All right. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Thank you for making it to the end of this program. If you actually like this content, give a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, just hit the subscribe button. I'm available on YouTube, Odyssey, and BitChute, and on all the major podcasting platforms in audio version. Spotify specifically. If you would like to follow and leave a review, that would help a lot. I am also available on Twitter at EurekaJohn1. That's EUREKA John, JOHN, and the number 1. My DMs are always open. Feel free to shoot me a message. Thanks again.